Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. My name is Sean and I'm delighted you're joining us for today's ESPC community webinar. Today I'm joined by Jonas Walters and Lothar van Dissen, who will present Steps to Successful AI Empowerment in Power Platform. We love hearing you guys have to say, so remember to join in the conversation about today's webinar. Our handle is at ESPC_community and our hashtag is hashtag ESPC25. Tweet us, tag us, and tell us what you learned. Don't forget to check out our Learning Hub, which is updated the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars, and how-to videos. You can access the viewed Learning Hub by visiting our website, sharepointeurope.com, and clicking the content tab at the top. EPPC 25 is almost here, and we're incredibly thankful to Microsoft for the continued support of Europe's largest Microsoft Power Platform conference. EPPC keynote lineup are Vic Singh, Ryan Cunningham, Nirav Shah, and Leon Welicki. Will we see you there? Want to clarify on where tech is headed? Hear from the one steering it at EPPC 25. You'll have the chance to learn from over 30 Microsoft leaders as they share their insights on the future of AI, agents, Power Platform, and more. Don't miss the opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and be part of the conversation shaping tomorrow's technology. Book your EPPC ticket today by scanning the QR code or visiting www.sharepointeurope.com/European Power Platform Conference pricing. As always, if you have any questions at any stage, feel free to type in the questions box and Jonas and Lothar will get to them during the webinar. This webinar will be recorded and added to the Resource Center, where you'll be notified by email when it is available. And now I'm going to pass you over to today's webinar presenters, Jonas and Lothar. Hello, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're dialing in from. We're so excited that you're here today in our webinar. I'm not sure if you're looking live. I see a lot of people live joining us, which is great. We want to make it interactive as well. So there's a chat interface. Whenever you have a question, drop the question there, and Sean will happily interrupt us when there's a certain clarification needed. And also we'll ask some questions to you that you can answer in the chat. All right, let's go. We are here today for the webinar to learn about the 6 steps to successful AI empowerment. We'll briefly introduce ourselves as well, but first let's go to the second slide, which shows you about what we believe about AI. AI is actually the new shiny new tool, and actually everybody wants an agent nowadays, right? Have you heard that as well? I want an agent for my work. I want an agent to automate X, Y, and Z. We're here to tell you that
Jonas,
yes?
Excuse me. I would like to have an agent.
Yes, my friend. But Lothar, it might not be the right tool for the job. That's what we'll learn here today. So it's not always the right tool for the job. Lovely. All right, introducing myself, my name is Jonas. I am a Power Platform Solution Architect. I'm a fast track recognized, it's a recognition that I received from Microsoft, the only one in Belgium and one of the 51 in the world. So just to say that I have some experience with the Power Platform. I've been with the technology since the beginning and even before. I'm getting old, getting a dinosaur at the dynamics area, and I've been doing a lot of different projects on low code, no code, aka the Power Platform. You can connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like. I'd like to share or try to share a lot of information about Gen AI, low code and no code. So looking forward to connect with you all, and joined here with my colleague Lothar.
Yes, indeed. My name is Lothar van Dissen. I am a Power Platform Solution Architect too, and I work already for 5 years in Power Platform projects for several companies. I also have some certifications, and I'm really a Power Platform lover, and I am very enthusiastic to see what is happening all these days with Copilot Studio, the way how AI helps you to work with the platform. Oh, my battery is running low. I will fix it in a minute, no problem. We will make it during this this presentation.
You definitely need an agent, Lothar.
Yes. Yes. I need an agent that keeps track of my battery. No, but so yes, I'm very happy to be here today, and I will now search for some energy. So Jonas, I give the floor back to you.
Perfect. So we're here to represent AppFi, the organization, just to get some information of who we are. We are low code, no code partner, Microsoft partner. We're doing this in 2016, as I told you at the beginning of the platform. Microsoft solution partner, of course. We have a nearshore team in Portugal that helps with solution delivery, but actually our core is in the empowerment of organizations. So we love to empower organizations to build their own digital solutions in the area of AI. This becomes even more important. Everybody wants to build something with AI. What about governance? How do we get started? How do we accelerate? What about change management? All of those things and questions we have answered quite a lot of times already. So we're happy to share our experiences here today. But then the faces behind the organization is in today, me and Lothar for Apfi. So as from an agenda perspective, we'll start first with some brief introduction about the Power Platform. This is also a question we'll ask you in a second. Maybe we can ask a question right now already, like how familiar is the audience with the Power Platform here today? You can score from 1 that you're not familiar whatsoever with the Power Platform to 5 if you're very familiar with the Power Platform. So feel free to drop a number in the chat. 1 beginner, 5 expert, like Lothar. And then for the agenda perspective, so starting with Power Platform, initially some information, depending on the experience level, we'll dive a bit deeper or will remain a bit high level. Then we'll go to a proven digital enablement journey, how it can look like, that journey, because it's always a journey into digital enablement. Then some use cases, people love use cases. We've done thousands of them. We just picked a couple of them here today for you. And then of course, the 6 tips of successful AI empowerment, what you're all waiting for. So Sean, what does the audience say?
So there's 2 that said 1, there's 3 that said 3, there's 2 that said 4, and 1 said 5.
Oh, we have
give 5. On average? What did they give it on average? We have a Lothar in the audience.
I would say average is 3.5 to 4. Yeah.
Okay, so somewhere between beginners and experts, let's say medium. But nevertheless, we will start with a short introduction in low code, no code, and Power Platform. My laptop was not fully charged, but I am. So let's start. It's always been about less code. So if we today look to how software is made, then we come from a situation where we all need pro code developers to develop new automations, new applications, new software. But since a few years, there's low code. And if you think about low code, then we at Appfi, we like to make the comparison with how a PowerPoint is made. So if you make a PowerPoint, then you can just drag and drop some blocks and some visuals on it, and then you can create a presentation. Well, if you're using low code, then it is the same kind of mindset that you need to create an app. You can create an app just by drag and drop some buttons, some fields, and then you add some small, maybe sentences of code in it for the last improvements, and then you have a low code application. But what do we see the day of today? AI is there. We live in a world with AI, and as you all have experienced, I think with ChatGPT, for example, it can generate a text, it can generate images, and what we see now with Copilot and the Power Platform is that we are arriving at the no-code stage where you can use words and sentences to describe your problems, and then your new software, your new solutions, your new apps, your new automations, they roll out of it just based on what you say. So that's the evolution, and it's important that you and your organization, that you go with that evolution, that you see that it's happening, and that you anticipate, and that you make sure that you do not miss the train. And if you are working with the Microsoft Power Platform already, that's good. If you're not, then you can jump on it in the upcoming weeks, for sure, if you want to join us at the EPPC conference. But what is the Microsoft Power Platform conference? We are with an audience from 3.5, so I think it's relevant that we give a quick overview of all those components. If we start there below at the business intelligence, that's Power BI. That's a tool that most people know. It's a tool to show analytics and to give dashboards and reports. What data? The data of your organization. There are several connectors and you can connect it to Power BI. Now it already exists for 10 years and more, but what was seen before, our people in your organization also want to change the data, and that's the reason why there is internal apps named Power Apps for your internal business users to create their own apps and to use apps made by other people to change data, to, for example, request stuff, to place an order, to fill in forms, and so on and so on. If you use that app, then there was a need for automation. Like if you push a button, then a message had to be sent to someone or a process had to be started, and then Microsoft invented Power Automate, where you can use API and other automations to make automations in your process and to do full process mining and digital process automation. But there are still some legacy tools in most organizations that do not have these connections and those really fancy APIs. So there's also the robotic process automation, where you use the user interface and you let a computer or a laptop or whatever act as a robot. The name is also robotic process, automation, and then it just clicks what you would do if you would act as a human. So that was the Power Platform for a long time. It was a baseline, the Dataverse, the basic database of Power Platform, and then some years ago, Microsoft has added the Copilot Studio, where you can build your own chatbots, and since some months also your own agents. The difference between a chatbot, a Copilot chatbot, is you have to ask something to the chatbot, to the Copilot, and it will give you an answer. But the agent starts itself, and it will ping you in Teams and say, hey, I have noticed, for example, in your Power BI dashboard that a certain value has exceeded, you have to take an action. Or it's possible that the autonomous agent already has taken an action themselves and that you just have to confirm and to know that it has been happening. The main advantages of those whole ecosystem, I think I could say, and it's also proven by some studies, that it is the most fancy and most used low-code platform in the world. And the main advantages are that it has shared security and shared governance across your whole ecosystem. It's the same account that you use also for Outlook and for SharePoint. It is a generic, it reduces integration complexity, since you can reuse the data from Power Apps in Power BI, you can reuse the data from SharePoint in Canvas apps and Power Apps, so it's all interconnected. And since it is all interconnected and the look and feel is the same and you can use the same account, it has a smaller learning curve. I mentioned it already, there are several built-in connectors and plugins, so you can connect with MailChimp, with Azure, with YouTube, with Outlook, with SAP, a very popular connector to make those automations in a quick way, not only for your Power Apps and your Power BI dashboards, but also for your own chatbots and Copilot agents. If we then see how organizations are using it, you can map it on a matrix, on a scale, where you see the complexity of making your automation versus the impact that your automation has. And if we then compare it, we see at the left side the personal productivity solutions. And these are typical the solutions that are not that complex, that also have not a very big impact, but that can have a very big impact for you as one employee or as a person. For example, you can automate that if you receive an email, that the attachment is automatically saved on your OneDrive, for example. And if you have to do the action otherwise 5 times a day manually, then it has a huge impact if you see it on a scale of a few years. Then we also have the team productivity apps and solutions, and at the other side of the slide, we see the group productivity, and those are typical the applications that are more business critical and that really has an impact, for example, on the whole organizations and on the processes where many employees are involved. Typically, people start by making some personal productivity Power Automate flows or a chatbot in Copilot Studio that only is looking to their own documents and that people can use for themselves, but then they see the value of the platform, and then they think, oh, maybe I can use that Copilot that I made for myself also for the team, that my colleagues can also get the value that this Copilot is generating. But then we see, well, what if the maker of that Copilot Studio agent leaves, and what if the people from the team has not the same access rights in all the systems as another employee? So then the complexity to make it becomes a little bit larger, but that's also interesting to do it. And once you access and you accelerate it and you see how it works, then you can get more impact and create more value and gain more time, and so on and so on. So if we wrap it up, low code, it exists since 2016. It started with Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Apps. Since a few years, we have AI, and it's on two levels. The first level is AI is giving an efficiency boost to low code makers. They can use Copilot, and it supports them really in creating low code solutions like Power Automate flows, but also formulas and apps. So I mentioned earlier that in low code, sometimes it's relevant to add some small parts of Power FX formulas and code a little bit as you do also in Excel, where you have more advanced formulas. Now there is Copilot, and you can describe in your own words what you want it to have in your app, and then it will give you a suggestion, or it will even write it. So that's where low code becomes no code. But it's not only that, it's also you have now the ability to create your own Copilot agents using Copilot Studio, and then you can chat with an agent using Microsoft Teams, and the agents can go directly into your documents, into your databases, and resume it and give information that otherwise you had to make a very extensive dashboard, or you had to look into apps, and so on and so on. So AI is giving opportunities on two levels. And then I think, Jonas, maybe after all this theory, it's time to give a proven example of digital enablement in the area of AI that we have done at one of our customers. What do you think? Is that a good suggestion?
That's an excellent suggestion, Lothar. Thank you for the nice introduction about the Power Platform. I hope the ones are now becoming more like 3, 4s, even maybe some of the 5s. Who knows? So I hope you got some information already about the Power Platform. Now, how does the journey can look like in an organization? We've done this a couple of times for organizations, and it's a journey, let's say. You need to go through certain steps and certain phases. And we'll show you the journey we did together with a customer called Fluxys. And Fluxys is an organization that transports gas between different countries in the world. So they have piping infrastructure, they have like boats, they have like tankers. All of those components are available in Fluxys, and they had an ambition. Fluxys had an ambition. They wanted to increase their digital dexterity. I don't know if anyone heard about this terminology before. For me, it was new, to be honest. Digital dexterity. I was like, what's that kind of thing? I even have troubles pronouncing it. But the definition of digital dexterity is quite on point on our vision and mission as an organization. So it's actually the ability and ambition for the workforce to exploit existing and emerging technology for better business outcomes. A lot of words basically saying making people more digital, empowering them, right? Remember, we are the empowerment organization. So the match with their idea and our vision was fantastic. So we went ahead on a journey. And the journey, you can see, it starts with awareness. On the bottom of the slide, you have a different journey. Everything that happens in your life, you first like, oh, awareness, what is about? Yeah, you consider it maybe, you activate, then you start adopting it. So it's like, you doubt in the beginning. That's what also happened in this organization. Is this low code, no code? Is this co-piloting? Is this something for us? Yes or no? Well, no worries. Let's do a hackathon. This was a very popular format, still asked a lot by customers like, okay, let's build something together. Let's build something and do it in a day, app in a day. Let's make some other team members. Let's put IT together with business. Let's show the agile way of working and build an application in a day. Right, great. Then IT says, wow, this Power Platform, this is something for the small applications, the sandwich builders, the kind of welcome applications or reception apps, all fun and games, but not for serious stuff, right? Well, think wrong. There's the enterprise application that we built for them called AssetWorks, which is providing for them the mission critical solution, managing all the assets that I just talked about, all the pipings, managing all of them in a solution connected directly with SAP, now running 24/7 by the whole organization, really at the heart, at the core of the organization. So we went from hackathon, app in a day, and we did some governance as well in the middle to make sure that IT is happy with the solutions that we're building, that they're built from a sustainable way, that we don't have any problem if people leave the organization, that we can have the scaling in place, and have all the rules and regulations set up to prepare for citizen development, right? That's the terminology that's been there for a while, and it's coming back again and again. This is about digital enabling users becoming citizen developers and building their own application. We coach them, we guide them, we mentor them, and they created their own small personal productivity solutions to start with. That was the first phase of the citizen development. Example like the business cards, I always let's take that word, the business card creator. So it's an application that someone built. They were responsible of creating of business cards. So someone requested the business card, and that person always had to check with the manager, yeah, is the title of that person still correct? Or do we allow the business card? There was an approval flow, mail back and forth, SharePoint, whatever. That person, zero IT skills, a bit of coaching from our side, built like their own digital solution to manage and request the business cards. And now we are at the phase of discovery days where multiple people are being enabled. The adoption of the organization is happening. More and more people hear about those digital solutions, about those co-pilots, about those agents being created, and they're like joining the discovery days to be more and more inspired and actually creating what they call booster initiatives. And those booster initiatives are coming from the business, coming from the people. They're like having a new idea. They have something with low code, no code, Gen AI, and then those initiatives will then be, let's say, implemented in an agile way of working. All right, that was the digital enablement journey from Fluxys. So going from awareness, consideration, activation to adoption. And everybody does this at their own pace. It really is a journey. Some organizations take years to go through this cycle. Others take months, weeks. It really depends about the people, their mindset, how digital they already are, where they're starting from. But we can certainly tell you that this is a journey, but also a journey with value. Right, Lothar?
Indeed. We have some use cases that we wanted to present today from organizations that are in their digital enablement journey, and it also leveraging on artificial intelligence. And one of the first examples we wanted to give is one from Colruyt Group. It's a famous Belgian retail company, and they started a few years ago by creating 3 citizen development solutions on 3 separate domains, separate departments in their organization: supply chain, finance, and retail audit. And we coach them in creating those applications. The first one, it was about a paper-based process in some stores where they had to check if the fruit was still good to sell, and then it was all on paper. And now we made together with them a Power app, a Canvas app, and yes, now there is less waste in fact in their stores. Then the second one, that's maybe the most relevant for this particular webinar, because it was about finance, and they had an ERP system and their invoices were in that system and they were sent by them by email. But before bringing them to the ERP system, we together with them, we made a model driven app in a Canvas app, no, not a Canvas app, a Power app. And in that Power app, they could see their invoice in PDF. You can see it on the screenshot. And then next to that, we had a form, and that form is filled in combined with AI, and it extracts the right data from the PDF, because each supplier was sending different invoices in other formats and so on, but the data was subtracted by AI. Then a human could do some last checks, and if it was okay, there was a button like save or send. I don't remember exactly what it was on the button, but okay, a button to close it, to say okay, start the process or finish the process, depending on what you call the process. But however, there was a lot of copy paste work in the past, and using our AI solution at Colruyt Group made it way more quicker, less mistakes, and so on and so on. And if we bring together those 3 citizen development solutions, then we had a return of investment of 1 million in 3 years, and those 3 applications were built by the citizen developers themselves, leveraging on AI and on the help of AppV, of course. Then another use case is from a media company, and they made an SAP product copilot agent, and it's a video. So I'm going to try if I can see if I can start it. Yes, here it is. So this is a copilot agent. Colleagues can chat with it in Teams, And behind the scenes, the Copilot agent in Copilot Studio is connected with the SAP connector to the SAP system of the company we are talking about. So the Copilot can watch into the whole catalog that is in SAP and then give recommendations about the products. And this is an example about a Beamer. And so you can talk really with the data in your system. So in that way, Copilot Studio can really bring a new kind of front end, new kind of user experience with your data. Another example of a Copilot Studio case is of John Cockerell, another company that is in the manufacturing industry, and they had a lot of policies for their staff and their employees, a car policy, some procedures on whatever that the HR department had. They all uploaded it to SharePoint, and then they created together with us a Copilot Studio chatbot that was available for the whole organization, and all the employees could ask questions. You could say, oh, but they could also ask it to the department. Yes, of course, but that was one of their challenges. They were receiving so many questions each day from their employees, and the questions were very, for them, for the receiving department, like repetitive, and they were like, okay, but all those information is on SharePoint. Why are my stupid colleagues not just checking SharePoint? But that was because there was a lot of information on SharePoint, okay. But now with those new DGHR agents, there was a lot of time saving and productivity gains, and the experience for the employees that wanted to have the right information fast was also improved. So this is a very, very nice case of what AI and Copilot can do in an organization. Another way smaller example is one from AppFi ourselves. We have an initiative. It's called Power Minutes, and every 2 weeks we post a video on YouTube with a new update on the Power platform. If you're interested, you can scan the QR code and you can become a subscriber, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about our internal process, because we have to do some brainstorming about what could be the next topic for our Power Minutes. And to facilitate that, we have created just a very easy Microsoft form. And then when it's filled in, there is a Power Automate flow, and it immediately saves it on SharePoint. And on SharePoint, then our, let's say, Power Minutes responsible guy receives a message in Teams, and then he can have a look to the idea and see what priority it should have and if it can be made. And there are also some tags in SharePoint, like you can see it in blue and in purple. So then it can be also be tagged and added some metadata. It's a very small example, but just to show, first thing, that sometimes a Copilot is also not really needed, because here you can say, okay, you made a form, but you could also have made a chatbot. And indeed, maybe we can do it in the future, but if it's not really needed, and that's referring to Jonas' first slide, a Copilot is also more relevant when it's relevant. When you just need an easy form, you can still use an easy form. If it does the job, why not? So these were some use cases, some examples to show you that the Power Platform is really a productivity accelerator, and you can use it for many use cases. And the newer AI features and Copilot Studio really have their value, but not for every case. So it's but it gives, yes, added value. Jonas, what do you think of these use cases? What was your personal favorite?
My personal favorite was the simplest one, actually. Like, it allows you to open up like those simple automations that can help you make yourself more productive, like the Power Minutes one, forms, SharePoint site. Very simple, but very efficiency booster. I love that.
Yes, indeed. These examples were simple, and that's why there is a myth. And the myth is low code isn't enterprise ready, but that's not true. And I can prove that as well with two other examples. For example, this asset lifecycle management app that we have made at Fluxus. This is really an application that is used by the whole organization of Fluxus, and it's also used 24/7. Another example is the shop floor management solution that we also have made at the customer, where some new invoices can be generated for products at a customer. But to go back to that asset lifecycle management app, Jonas, do you have any idea how many users are using this application, just to show that the Power Platform and AI and Copilot Studio are enterprise ready?
Yeah, so this is being used by the top level management and the manager level. So about 200 people are using this day to day on average. So 200 people using the solution to check the status of the asset, managers to do approvals, to perform strategic initiatives even. So they also think about building new pipe connections, and those are like sensitive information. It's a public company, but they want to already measure budget, follow up the project. So yeah, it's a big application at the core of the organization. About 200 people are using this daily.
Yeah. Okay, and Jonas, I think now with the introduction on the Power Platform and the use cases for the Power Platform and Copilot, that even the people who said at the start of this webinar, I am a one, I am a very beginner in the Power Platform, I think we now level them up and we scale them up towards a level that they really can have nice insights by this 6 tips for successful AI empowerment. This was also the title of the webinar. I think that's also the main reason why most of the attendees are coming to this session. So I think we're now around halfway. So it's really time to deep dive into these 6 tips. And I know, Jonas, you really wanted to start with it, but I said no, we first need an introduction. But however, Jonas, I will give the floor to you, and I think it's good if you go through the 6 tips. But can I already give a spoiler or not yet?
Because it's you, Lothar. Go ahead. Give a spoiler.
Okay. There is a bonus tip. There are 7 tips today.
God damn it. There's always an extra tip. That's nice. I love it. I love
so,
it.
No time to waste. Let's start. Jonas, tip number 1.
Yeah, indeed. So before we go to tip number 1, the thing is that we've been doing this for quite some time, and we've seen a lot of pitfalls and challenges of people embracing low code, no code in an organization. And as you heard that before, it's really a journey. So don't take it lightly, and don't take it, let's say, alone. So get the right people on the bus. It's an expression as well in general in an organization. Having the right people in an organization makes sense. Having the right people for a project, for an initiative, for a program also makes sense. So find the right people for your digital enablement journey. And who are those right people? So you might be coming here from a maker persona. You might be a citizen developer creating some digital solutions yourself. Well, perfect. You're a good stakeholder in the whole project, but you cannot handle it alone. You need sponsorship, you need budget, you need executive sponsorship, for example. You need to make sure that the higher level organization, the vision, the mission, it's all aligned with low code, no code. That's where it also starts with. So you need some leadership buying. And that's not the only thing. You also need some champions like yourself that actually can showcase the value. You can work with partners that then can help you with the hackathon kind of concept, like proving the real value of low code, no code. A lot of organizations haven't really explored or started yet. And it's like, okay, let's showcase, let's try to find some champions in your organizations to let them build the solution themselves. And again, the empowerment. Communication is also a crucial aspect. It all starts with the change management from the beginning, making people aware what's going on, what are people going to start with, what is the opportunity ahead, where can people subscribe if they're interested, and that they can slowly be adopted in the low code, no code team. So get the right people on the bus is very, very important. That was tip number 1. Are we ready for tip number 2?
Yes,
We have the slide, so I guess we're ready. Influence your stakeholders. So you have the right people on the bus, but that doesn't mean that they will, let's say, just happily go along. And so you can say, well, I have some executive people here, I talk with them, and they heard about this low code, no codes, and they believe, remember that myth? It's just not enterprise ready. We shouldn't bother, something to play with. Go ahead, guys, you don't get any budget. It's not really a priority. Well, when you have that, you should influence your stakeholders and try to change their minds. You should invite them to the webinar, like this, for example. We can explain you and try to empower you or inspire you, with regards to what are the capabilities. And some common themes that we see in organizations of resistance, where people are like, yeah, okay, I don't know, I'm not sure. We'll list them out here in a slide, all available for free. Go take a print screen, go watch the recording. I'll just highlight a couple of them. Fear of data loss. It's a classic one, right? It's like, okay, but if people are going to use this low-code, no-code, and citizen development, and they're building applications. And what happens if then someone just sends something to Twitter or out in the world, and we might lose our data, people delete something, etc. Well, you must admit that the concept of shadow IT is also being called. It's been there since the beginning of time. So shadow IT exists, it's available, and it's actually a kind of a good thing because people want to make themselves more productive, they want to make themselves more efficient, they want to make their life easier. So they're building Excel, they're building Access databases, they're building whatever to make your company go faster and more efficient. And that's not a bad thing, but it's more risky to allow them, or more risky to just say, okay, shadow IT, we're not looking at it, and let them build their own things on a SharePoint, etc., or on an Excel somewhere. I mean, yeah, better to let them build something on the Power Platform, because the Power Platform, as Lothar showed you somewhere in the beginning of the slide, it has that governance and security built in. You, from an IT perspective, you can control what happens with the data, which boundaries you have. If the laptop of someone is stolen, they will not get access to the data, whereas an Excel file that someone has on their local drive, yes, that data will then, for example, be leaked. So there's, in comparison, there's really no comparison necessary. It's more like you don't need to fear about data loss. You have the controls and the capabilities by using a platform. That was one of them. Which one should I take next, Lothar? Which one do you want me to explain a bit more?
I want the last one about the job security.
Job security. Well, the code first developers, indeed, that's interesting. We see resistance happening at code developers or pro developers, like, yeah, what's this going to do with my job? Indeed, what should I be doing if I used to be writing JavaScript, C#, etc., and now this low code, no code wave comes in, and it's actually going faster and quicker and cheaper, and would I like to write code? Well, my friends, grasp the opportunity. The Power Platform, the low code, no code area allows you to speed up in developments of applications for the business. But it doesn't mean that you don't need to write any code any longer. There's still a code component opportunity in the platform. You see where we're heading. We're heading to less and less code, but there's still an opportunity that lasts more interesting development, to be honest, because again, creating a table database with a contact which has a first name and a last name and an email, and all those authentication layers and all those typical screens, the CRUD screens, create, read, update, building all of that. Yeah, you've done that a couple of times already, right? So we don't need to bother about that. We can build now tailored components in the Power Platform, tailored visualizations called PCF components as an example. So grasping that opportunity, adding value with your skills that you have in the Power Platform landscape. So don't be resistant, be adopting to the change, and actually, yeah, you're one of the best citizen developers that can be thought of. You have the experience, the technical skills, the Power Automator expressions. There's a lot of hidden technical things that allows you to go a lot faster than the average Joe. So you're in a head start by using the Power Platform. Great. Then let's go to tip number. What was it
Tip
again?
number 3.
Yes, let's go for 3.
But maybe first, Jonas, I don't think that the links on the slides are clickable for the audience. So if someone wants the links and only see now the titles, you can send us an email and then we send you the slides afterwards, if you're interested.
Great idea. All right, defining the why. That's like a very important one, and it's something where you should start with and thinking whenever you talk with the right people on the bus, and you also want to try to influence your stakeholders. You need to consider why. Why do you actually want to do low code, no code? And there are a lot of, let's say, examples out there of vision statements and mission statements that you can find in context of low code, no code, and it adds efficiency, it boosts innovation. There are a lot of typical things, but what is really important for your organization? So really think about what's your organization's mission, why do you exist, and how can low code, no code actually contribute to that? So you highlight some specific values of low code, no code, or some specific benefits of low code, no code connected with actually objectives and key results, because you can talk about the vision and the mission And this is typically something more farther in the future. And as you saw in the previous picture, this is good to do this in a workshop kind of format, have the right people in the bus in a workshop to be inspired about low code, no code, as something like we're doing here now. And also then to really think about it, close the eyes and like, okay, in 3 years, wow, what do we think? How should our organization look like in 3 years? What could it be? And it was like, yeah, we want people to be building their own solutions, empowered, being happy in their job, not having repetitive tasks. They don't need to wait for IT. They can really go and flourish, and people are happy in our organization. And that can be something that people actually express during an exercise like that. And that's nice. That's vision, that's direction. That's like, wow, cool, let's go there. And that's important to have that, because that inspires people to actually contribute to that mission. But then the rubber still needs to hit the road. And that's where you need to define some key results and some objectives. And you all heard about those SMART goals, I believe, before, the SMART acronym about an objective. You can say, okay, I want to do something, but the objective should really be SMART, being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time related. So all of those properties make up a perfect goal definition. So starting from the vision, why, and then defining some proper goals. Okay, this year we would like to have 5 low-code makers, citizen developers, coached, trained, that they're able to create an application. That can be an example of a SMART goal. You have a time frame, you're very specific about the amount, you can measure it because you know how many people you want to actually get to a certain level, it's achievable, not extreme. So all of those things, when defining the goals, take this proven framework in mind. All right, and then we are here already at number 4. Time flies, my friend. So starting with the right initiative. And the right initiative, what's the right initiative? Well, so we've seen this before as well. All of this is based on our personal experience. It's like, okay, let's invest a lot of money in that huge initiative, that very large, a lot of value, but a lot of work. So this will take us months and months and months to develop this initiative, which is great because it will actually provide a lot of value to the organization. But the longer the time frame, the longer the potential that people change jobs, managers change jobs, leadership changes, and people are like looking at this, okay, what are we doing here again? Why are we investing something that's not delivering any value yet, right? So try to find those high value, high impact cases that are low complexity. We call that the low hanging fruit or the quick wins. So try to find those. And typically those are in the context of the topics you see here, repetitiveness. What are people doing frequently over and over again? Where do you see processes that are, let's say, error prone, and you get like, sometimes this causes quite some damage. Someone made a mistake, and that caused maybe some reputational damage, like, damn, this process is error prone. It's human, it's part of the human to make mistakes, of course. These are the good triggers to say, every crisis is a great opportunity. Say, this is maybe a process we think about automating it. The business impact, crucial there. We don't want to just create an agent because it's fun and games and everybody wants to create an agent. We want ROI. What does it stand for, Lothar?
Return on investment, Jonas.
All right, so return on investment. What time do we want to invest in it, and how much does it take to return that money that we invested? So it should be positive, it should be net positive. Otherwise, why are we doing this in the first place? All right, and we have that framework, let's say, where we have the impact and investment scale. I forgot the last one. The fact about the happiness of employees. So you have different measures of impact or value, and the value can be not only in numbers and time saved, but it can also be in the fact that people are just doing their job more happily, and they're more fulfilled because they don't need to do that tedious process. They can not only reduce the costs, but also provide more fulfilling jobs. And this, at the end, it's a flywheel, it's a cycle. Happier employees, happier customers, more customers, revenue, happier management, etc. Everybody happy, right? So it's a happy cycle. Get in the happy cycle. Now, the prioritization matrix, that's the framework we use to actually prioritize, and we give this up here for you again for free to help to find, okay, where do we start? Where do we actually start? And it's very difficult for someone to define a concrete number. If I ask you how much is the value of this specific use case, they'll be like, I have no clue what to answer here. Like, oh, 100 euro, 1,000, no clue. It's very difficult. Same for me. If you ask me, Jonas, how much time do you need to build this application? Okay, I have no clue. We need a bit more information. But what we can do as a human is we can compare quite well. If we have 5 use cases, we can say, is this one more impactful, more valuable than this one? Or is this one more complicated than that one? That's much easier for us as a human to grasp. And that's where you can then quite easily, with the right support, create like this kind of a chart, and you will see automatically all of the right use cases coming in a certain box, and you will find those quick wins. And this is where we advise you to get started with. Don't talk about the things, don't keep on getting inspired, following trainings, show the real value, quick wins. Whenever you've done a first quick win, you show this as a showcase to whoever is on the bus to say, look, this works. We did something very fast, very valuable. Let's go. We need to scale it to the next step. So that's where the prioritization matrix comes into play. And then number 5, define some lightweight governance. So don't forget governance. Whenever we are doing these initiatives and you have again the right people on the bus, don't forget IT. IT is really a crucial part in the team here. And the governance aspect of whenever we're starting something is very crucial. But we also need to understand that we shouldn't over-invest in governance either. We had companies before that were like, okay, IT saying, shut it down. I probably heard it before, like shut everything down. We need to protect everything and everything needs to be written down in every detail. And we're creating it like we're already the organization that has makers at scale, digital enablement, everybody. Well, yeah, a lot of money down the drain just to define all of the policies and nobody used it. Everybody was already blocked at that first request of a form, which said like thousands of questions like, what are you doing? Why? What's the money? How much time you need? And give me a process flow. Blah, blah. Everybody's like, okay, I'll just build my Excel. I don't want to join this this pain. And so this is where it's over governance and overdoing it. But the other extreme is not doing nothing at all. Let's say, just letting people go freely and just building something, and based on that, like not having any kind of protection whatsoever, and you will get quite easily in a nest of wasps, if it's the right expression. Not sure. Something that's not maintainable, controllable, and it's much more difficult to then fit your governance or apply your governance, because then you need to talk with everybody like, what did you create? And you connected something to DocuSign, but we're not using DocuSign, we're using another signing platform. Why are we doing this? And having conversation. Wow, a lot of money will be wasted, my friends, by that process. So the truth, or the sweet spot, is in the middle, just enough governance. So not nothing, not full all the way, but somewhere in the middle. And there are some here again in the slide, some things from a security perspective that you should really think about. That's the minimal, that's the baseline. Think about some things that people are not able to allow to buy licenses and then self-service purchase. It's always nice for Microsoft to enable that. People can buy things themselves. I want to understand what people are using and buying, so I disable those kind of things. Same for production environments. Should everybody just be creating production environments? What about the tenant isolation or data loss protection policies? Put some of them in place already so that you're secure and that you can sleep well at night. So implementing just enough governance was tip number 5. Then tip number 6 is don't reinvent the wheel. And this is really, there's so much information out there. Don't start from zero, don't start from scratch, don't start to define your own rules and your own regulations and own policies and own things. No, there are a lot of templates out there. You have things like the COE starter kit. Probably you heard about this thing before. It's a beast. It has a lot of information, a lot of tools, a lot of capabilities to help you with everything regards to the center of excellence or center of enablement, like we like to call it. Those are a lot available out there, so don't reinvent all of those things. Take a look at the COE starter kit, take a look at the Power Cat tools, and all of those things have a lot of information out there, templates, guidelines, really something that can help you get started quickly. Same for on the top there, there's the site called Adoption Power Platform. If you Google that, Adoption Power Platform, Microsoft, you come to the website where you have like an adoption workbook. Same, like how do you, how does the journey look like? What are the steps that you should be taking? What are some best practices that Microsoft advises there? And where are we in the maturity model? Where are we adopting it? And where are we exactly in that stage? So there's a lot of information out there. So don't reinvent everything. Go fetch, go do some research, and take the right tools and the right capabilities at the right moment. Wow, it was already the last tip, right?
Yes, it was. We only had 6 tips. Oh.
Damn it, there's a bonus.
Ah.
Grow with a mentor at your side. And this is something we as an organization actually have been doing for the last 6, 7, 8 years, helping people, growing them well when we are doing our solution delivery. We've been doing this for always, for since the beginning, because we are an empowerment partner. And it's not to sell our services here. It's more like the concept of a mentor. It just works. It just makes you go faster. It makes you keep the focus. It makes you to be able to improve the quality of your delivery. It allows you to learn faster. And I like to make the analogy with, like, say, a gym coach. So personal coach, fitness coach. People might be like, yeah, why are you paying that guy, that fitness coach? Why are you paying that personal coach? You can just go to gym somewhere here for a lot cheaper. You can do everything yourself, right? Yes, you can. Of course you can. However, if you compare people that really take a personal coach, they will go much faster. They will have much better quality because they are trained and supported in what they're doing in their weightlifting. If people need to do some weightlifting, there's some certain posture that you need to take. All of those small things you're not aware of. Some point you get like injuries, and all of those things don't happen if you have someone that actually guides you at your side. And this is we've been doing in solution delivery, but also more and more we're just focusing purely on mentoring. And you see there a picture of our great mentor Bruno, talking about, for example, 15 things about the Power Platform you should never forget. So inspiring people, providing some sessions, inspirations, and being there as a sidekick. Any questions, anything gets stuck, anything not sure how you should be doing it, well, you have expertise at hand. So find someone in your organization that can act as that mentor, that can really hold your team accountable, that can move things forward. Don't make the mistake of following some trainings by some supplier somewhere and nice, we're very much inspired, and the next day you're just doing again the same things over and over in the rat race, like doing your job day to day again, those emails coming in and you're distracted, and at the end you will not progress whatsoever. So that accountability part is, to me, it's priceless. All right, so we had the 6 tips plus 1 is 7, right? So that's a bonus tip. Great to see that in the slides here. So let's recap, right? We have getting the right people on the bus. That's very important. Make sure you find the right people on the bus. Then influence the stakeholders. When you find the people, make sure you talk with them in the right way that you can understand their perceptions, understand their frustration, understand their way of thinking, to make sure to inspire them and influence them to take the low-code, no-code opportunity. Defining the why, explaining that, creating buy-in. Don't do it alone. Create a workshop together, a format, make it interactive. Think about all together, like, this is the energy we want, let's go for it. And then start with those right initiatives to get the ball rolling. Once the ball starts rolling, you will only increase the speed of that flywheel. Don't forget about that governance, of course. Don't just put it out of the way. Don't like, oh no, governance and no. Look at it, embrace it, but just enough. Don't reinvent the wheel. Look online, ton of resources, talk with partners that can help you and guide you. Don't reinvent the wheel. It will just make you go faster. And together with a mentor, you will do it faster, better, and smarter. Wow.
All right. Thank you, Jonas, for this great recap, and overall for this 7 very good tips, very useful, very practical, and also to make everyone aware that Copilot can help you in a lot of things, but not everywhere, so that you have to see it's a tool like another tool, and you have to use it for the right purposes.
Yeah, that's what we can see here. So the AI stack is very much popular, and people are always coming to us, we want an agent, we want something AI. And at the end, the Power Automate, which is just a Power App, works perfect. And for some cases, AI works perfect. For example, we haven't expressed that here today as an example, of maybe adding this here as an extra bonus use case. It's like the processing of unstructured to structured data, going from some data like the invoicing data. That's something you can do with AI for sure. That makes sense that you do that, but you don't need to do the full process with AI. You combine it, you combine the right tools, you connect AI with Power Apps, with the Power Pages, with Copilot Studio. You connect all of the things, the right tools for the right job. All right, great. So your next steps, how does those next step look like? Well, first and foremost, you should go visit us at the booth, but you have a free chance to talk with us and to define, let's say,
the concrete next steps. Because what we see indeed, Jonas, is that for each organization, the concrete next steps can be different. So to define what tools and what concrete use cases can be your first steps, and or the right selected use cases, as one of the tips was, we can help you. So for free, you can book a meeting with us. So this is the QR code. And then we can sit together online for 30 minutes and talk about your challenges, and to give already some advice about where to start, or what sources of information you can read, or what videos that are available to kickstart your Power Platform and Copilot AI development in your organization. And if you say, oh, I don't want to talk to you online, then you can visit us. In 2 weeks, AppFi will have a booth at the European Power Platform Conference in Vienna. So if you want to see us there, definitely come to our booth, and then we can talk there about AI and Copilot enablement in your organization, and how you can really leverage all those new tools and new possibilities to be more productive and to have more happy employees in your organization. And some other spoiler, it will be not snowing in Vienna. It is just for our team is après-ski, so we will organize an après-ski party at our booth, but the sun will shine, so we can even go to a bar after the conference if you want. But maybe Sean, can you hear us? Are there questions for us? Because we have 5 more minutes, so it's good if you use that time as useful as possible.
Perfect. So thank you, Jonas and Lothar, for a great presentation. So now we'll get into questions and answer part. Should you wish to ask a question, please feel free to type in questions box now. So the first question is, how do admins ensure that data used in AI models comply with internal policies and external regulations like GDPR?
Well, that's an excellent, tough question. And so the concept is first defining the policies in your organization, and so making sure you write down within an organization what are the tools that you allow and disallow from a tooling perspective, because you might know or not know ChatGPT, you can do this for free. You can just go there and upload your company data, ask some questions, and by default, surprise, surprise, they train on your data. Yes, GDPR regulation, you can flip the switch and you can change it as an employee or as a user. But yeah, people don't really do that. They need to find the setting. It's not so obvious. So this is kind of a risk. So it starts with making people aware within the organization of the risk that they are having with using unallowed, unapproved AI tools, of which ChatGPT can be one of them. Or you take like a ChatGPT Plus or Enterprise plan, that's a different story. Or you work in a Microsoft stack, of course. You have their Copilot. And within Copilot, Microsoft guarantees you that they are not storing and or training on your data. So this is something where they really focus on very much on their data security. So same there from a GDPR perspective, all of those compliances tests have been completed with Microsoft. So you're safe off with Copilot, but it's very important to make your people in your organization aware of the risks of using unauthorized tools, because every single day a new tool is born, a new shiny object is there, a new business user might be like, ah, yeah, I want to try this out, might help me out. And it potentially puts your data then in risk at the cloud, or even worse, your customer data. And then you have the GDPR fun and games with that for free. So make sure you just express and make it clear and create like an AI policy is what I would advise you for that question.
Perfect. Just next question there is, how can success be measured when deploying AI-powered solutions in Power Platform? Are there any key KPIs to track?
Well, yeah, there are a lot of KPIs. Lothar, you want to go ahead?
Yes, what you, for example, can have as KPIs is the amount of Copilot agents or Copilot chatbots that have been made in your environment. So how many Copilots there are, but also the usage of it. Or employees using it every day or every hour or just once in a week, and how many percentage of our employees is using it, and how frequent, and also if you can measure if other AI tools are used, the tools that are not allowed, the shadow IT tools, for example, ChatGPT, you can also have a KPI like, okay, now before we started using the whole Copilot Studio cases and so on, how much percentage of our internet traffic is to ChatGPT, and can it be lowered? And do we see an increase in the usage of the AI tools that are allowed by our policy in our Microsoft stack, for example? So these are some examples of KPIs. I don't know, Jonas, if you have some more ideas.
Yeah, you have like Microsoft provides that as a Copilot analytics kind of dashboard. It's what Lothar said, but then let's say enriched with more measurements that you can have. You can see how many questions have been asked. There's like a full, I think it's aka.ms/Copilot analytics that you can see there, the dashboards of the adoption and usage of Copilot. So that's something that can help. And then, yeah, define together in your team what's your ambition, what you want to go, how many people you want to gradually onboard, and think about as well. It's a tip, even more tips. Goddamn, a community. Try to create like a community of people that you feel like, those are some champions, and they really know how to work well with Copilot, and they can train the trainer, train other people, and then they can go together because it's a collaborative thing. Everybody's learning on the go. It's like AI is really something like a black magical box that we need to learn how to use. The models change every day. O1, O3, GPT 4.1. It's like it's amazing. It's like you constantly need to keep on learning and sharing knowledge within the team, and that's why the Power Minutes are there as well. We're sharing our knowledge within our own team because it's going rapid speed, and the advice we can give to people today might not be applicable anymore tomorrow. So in a nutshell, yes, there are analytical dashboards available in Microsoft where you can really see the trends growing. And if you want to empower people and foster that, the community aspect and gradually taking people along and sharing their own knowledge is something that can really accelerate that adoption.
Perfect. That looks like all the questions. You can send me the presentation by email and I'll put it under recording so people can get the links and the presentation. That's it. Perfect. So on behalf of the ESPC community, we'd like to send a big thank you to again, Jonas and Lothar, for taking time out today to carry this webinar. Really appreciate it.
Welcome.
So that's the end of today's webinar. You can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. Thanks again for all of you joining us today, and I hope you join us again soon. Take care.
Everybody,
Ciao.
good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.